Hello there. Just thought I'd come in with a little bit of an update about what I just said to a friend of mine, Debbie Dubois. Actually, I'll link her channel below. She's got a great channel and other stuff, Telegram channels and different things. She offers a lot of good stuff. But this is about the good guys in the Galactic Circus getting the memo, because I bang on a lot about the bad guys and the Galactic Circus in general. SSP, whatever, however you want to look at that, because you would know if you've seen any of my other stuff that this includes this goes right into ancient alien territory, and that TV show and Gaia TV, the multi-million dollar, perhaps even billion-dollar enterprise, has thrown a lot of shade on that and how it actually is, and they've kind of made it a bit of a meme or a bad joke, very deliberately made themselves reasonably wealthy turning that into a meme. But that's just how it is. They weren't pioneering any new ground. The people who were looking at this new 30 years before bloody Gaia TV came along, what was up and what wasn't. So, as I said, I bang on a lot about the bad guys and the implants and the fuckery and the nasty stuff at the different levels that we're dealing with. But as soon as you go into the unseen realms, dimensions, whatever you want to call them, infrared, ultraviolet, I mean, it's not that spooky. We've got cameras that can see it, even though we can't. You're straight into galactic territory. You're into deities, you're into demons, you're into spirits, you're into jinn, you're into Andromedans and Arcturians. However you want to spin that, like you're in the galactic soup, you're in the mix. And just like saying all reptilians are bad is like saying all humans are good. It's like I've been pushing that there's a lot of agendas in these groups that you might not be aware of, and just to watch that, especially with the higher up, the blueskins in particular, Andromedans and Arcturians, but Pleiadians as well. There's a lot of people who don't want to believe that there could be any nasty or nefarious beings coming from those areas. I mean, Pleiadians is a bit of a funny thing. It'd be like imagining every being in this galaxy is called an earthling or a human. Like, there are many groups coming from these different areas or realms or worlds, and there's a lot of wonky stuff going on there, just like there is here. A lot of just straight up distortion, and a lot of beings that are caught in the crossfire of that, who think they're doing good things who aren't. And so when they come at you with the truth, because they're coming at you with their truth. They absolutely believe what they're telling you, but what they're telling you is not true. But they believe it, and so it is convincing. And that's the perfect con, when you can get this is the Archon move, right? Archons, that's an overarching term that kind of just means big boss, but it has the flavor of bad boss. but that overarching term we use for a bad boss, for a controller, for someone who uses tyranny, for someone who takes sovereignty from others, that kind of Archon. And there are, and Anunnaki another name that we throw around for these sort of beings. There are hybrids and clones, and they come from all over the place, actually. They're not just from one area, or they are from one area, but now, they're not just from one area. And, their game, their main method of operation is self-enforced, what do you want to call it? Like locking yourself up. You're your own jailer. install these programs, they gaslight, they install these ideas, they get you thinking through stories that somehow you did something wrong, you're the bad guy, and you've got things you need to work out, and you better go and work on it. And that's one of the favourite tricks. And these distortions, just like these stories, are everywhere, through every country, through every culture, through every one of these dimensions or locus or whatever we want to call them, depending on our culture. These energies and these methods of operation, they're everywhere, and you'll see it in your family, you'll see it in your boss, and you'll see it in this galactic stuff as well. So you've just kind of got to take a bit of a moment and a breath and check it out and go, it doesn't really matter where the message is coming from or who's delivering it. Just read the energy of what's going on and check what's happening here. And it's not all bad guys. There are good ones. I mean, we exist, right? People who are not fighting for the side of good, not white hats, not patriots. I'm not talking about that. People who are fighting for cohesion rather than distortion. Coherence. Beings that are working for that. We're not working for a state. We're not working for a government. We're not working for an empire. We're not working for a race. We're not working for a galaxy. We are working for coherence and harmony and balance. And to get that, you must work out a way to deal with distortion. And the beings who are working at how to deal with distortion, they are everywhere. They are in every walk of life. They are in every country, every culture, every dimension or loca, every race that you know of in here, every race that you've heard of out there, Greys, Reptilians, Mintakans, Syrians, Lyrans, on and on, at every time depth. There are those who are working for that. And you will know them when you meet them. And a lot of the mission, if I could put it that way, for some people has been just to deliver the memo to those who are still asleep, like sleeper agents. They're like sleeper cells. They're in place, but they're asleep. They don't even... I mean, if the Manchurian candidate knew he was a Manchurian candidate, it wouldn't work. I mean, that's the distorted, that's the other way around, that story. But, a proper sleeper cell, you can't really even know yourself. You've got to be so lost in the story that you're lost in it. Because if you can't know, then no one or no thing around you will know that you are an embedded agent. But then how to wake those embedded agents up to their heart, to what has been going on, to the hijack, to the distortion, and to what needs to be done to clear that, harmonize that, shift that. And that has been going on for quite some time, but it is going on even more now. So it seems to have hit a high note somewhat. And this is where this phrase came from that just kind of jumped into me this morning when I was talking to Debbie of everyone at the Galactic Circus getting the memo, or getting the memo to the correct people in the Galactic Circus. Because we're in the human circus, well and truly, but we're also part of this Galactic Circus, and it's bigger. And there are versions of us out there, if you want to look at it that way, but to even depersonalize it even more, there are just beings like us. To imagine there would not be beings who are going to work against distortion and work for coherence out there when there are beings like that in here, like you're looking at one, well, that would be silly. Like, of course beings like that exist at all depths. And so this is really about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because yeah, there are bad guys in the groups that people want you to believe are so ascended and so high dimensional and expanded that they don't even do good and bad anymore. I don't even know what that means, not doing good and bad anymore. Distortion can exist anywhere if you allow it to. It's not bad, that's not good. There's another video. It's not dark, it's not light. Darkness, you started in the womb, physically. You were created in darkness. You were grown in darkness. Dark is not bad. Doing dark things is a human terminology because you can't see in the dark, and so you're scared of the dark because you don't know what's hiding there. But I tell you right now, there are far scarier things hiding in the light than in the dark. Far scarier. They are in broad daylight, they are in public view, and they are frightening. And no darkness needed. They are fully distorted entities and beings out in the light right in front of you. So this is where we're at. We're at making sure, and this is the only reason I get in front of this camera and talk when I'm told to. I do as I'm told because I get told, you need to say something about this. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes it's in the car, sometimes it's in the dark, sometimes I'm sitting on a sawhorse in the garden. No ring light, no yummy music, no, because it doesn't work that way for me. It comes when it comes, and when it comes I listen to it because I know what happens when I don't. And when I mean it's me. I listen to me, not a voice in my head. This is me communicating with me. Not in English, not in words. And so the reason why it is important to make sure that those in the Galactic Circus get the memo, air quotes, and by that I mean your connections with what you believe is ancient Egypt, not pyramids and deserts, because, when Egypt was doing its thing, it wasn't a bloody desert. That's a screen memory. Check that shit. I'm in Egypt. I'm in Kemet. I'm in Atlantis. I'm in Lemuria. I'm in the Roman Empire. I mean, what we call the Vikings, the Norse. Anything that you feel you have a connection with, South America, North American Indigenous Australian, these past lives, these experiences, these things that you are bound to and tied to in a way that you cannot explain. Get in there, get in contact with whoever it seems like you are meant to be in there to get in contact with, not the most powerful one, not the highest one, just the one you know you're meant to be getting in contact with, and make sure they have got the memo. That we were all caught by this distortion, and we're all aware of it, and we know we're behind enemy lines everywhere, and we're rolling it up. And it's messy, but here we are, because we're not giving the Galactics the memo so they can come and save us, nor are we giving the Egyptian gods the memo so they can come and save us, or the Congolese gods, or the Peruvian gods. We're giving them the memo so they can save themselves, because that's what we're in the process of doing with ourselves right now, because we've got the memo. It was a distortion. It was planted internally. It's in our mind. We are cleaning it up. Don't check out there. Check internally and make sure you're clean. That's the memo that we're sending to everyone. And some of them are starting to get it. And if you're noticing some really wonky energies going on lately, yeah, that's probably why. So, okay. Much love.